Good morning, and thanks very much, Ken, and thank you for attending this morning at London Police Headquarters. As you are aware, the London Police Service is committed to ensuring a safe and secure community for all our citizens. And as you recall, I spoke to you several days ago about the inroads we have made in removing illegal firearms from our streets in an effort to prevent gunplay and further acts of violence before it occurs. Sadly, there are still occasions where citizens of our city fall victims to crimes of violence perpetrated by others. No crime impacts the community more than the murder of one of its citizens. While all murder is tragic and affects family and friends in immeasurable ways, the murder of an innocent victim has a devastating and rippling impact on an entire community. On behalf of victims, families, friends, and the greater community, the London Police Service remains relentless in its pursuit of those who unlawfully take the lives of others. Suffice to say, our investigators cannot solve these investigations in isolation. Today, we have an update on the investigation into the murder of Jonathan Zak. At the heart of our message is an appeal for assistance. This morning, I am able to tell you that the London Police Services Board has authorized a $25,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for the murder of Jonathan Zak. As this has been authorized by the London Police Services Board, I'm also joined here this morning with Councillor Denise Brown, who is a member of our board. The lead investigator, Detective Amanda Pfeffer, is here to speak about the investigation to date. As well, she will read a statement prepared by the victim's mother, Jean Zak, who is with us today. Detective Pfeffer and I will be available to answer questions at the conclusion of the update. Amanda?
On the evening of May 30th, 2012, 29-year-old Jonathan Zak spent the evening with friends playing Dungeons and Dragons. When he was eliminated from the game early in the morning on the 31st, he decided it was time to walk home. Jonathan chose a fateful route, deciding to walk through Northeast Park to get home. At approximately 1:30 a.m. on May 31st, Jonathan was met by the suspect, or suspects in this case. He was on the footpath in that park. He was confronted and was shot and killed just days before his 30th birthday. The police were called by citizens in the neighborhood in response to the sound of gunfire and immediately attended. The police spoke with several people who were outside in the immediate area of the shooting. Jonathan was not located by police until 7 a.m. after a 911 call was received about a male in medical distress near the footpath in the park. This is an overview map of the area where Jonathan's body was found. I can tell you that when the police initially attended, they spoke with people who were found outside in the Booley Street London Middlesex Housing Corporation. I believe that some of the people who the officers spoke with at 1:30 that morning could have provided direction to the officers in finding Jonathan's body, and also could have provided information on who was responsible for the murder. This arrow depicts the approximate location where Jonathan's body was located. This is the Booley Street London Middlesex Housing Corporation. Here is Booley Street, here is Victoria Street. The area to the north that is not depicted on this map is the Huron Street London Middlesex Housing Corporation that is joined by that footpath. At this time, I would like to ask Jean Zak, Jonathan's mother, to come to stand with me. This resilient woman, who has been crippled by the devastating loss of her son, did not hesitate to confirm her attendance here today. She has expressed that she would stand here today in hope that her presence will appeal to someone to come forward. As difficult as it was for her to do, she prepared this statement to be read in honor of her son. Just 4 days before his 30th birthday, my son Jonathan was murdered. For those who didn't know him, you missed out on meeting and having a relationship with a person who would listen, mediate, counsel, and support you in all of your decisions. He loved people, playing Warhammer, strategy games, video games, concerts, camping, and many more activities. Many people would say he was their best friend, and he would have a difficult time in identifying his best friend among his 30-plus friends, both male and female. All that knew him will say they treasured his friendship and would say that he impacted their lives forever. I am still so proud to be your mom whenever I hear how you helped your friends and strangers alike. My wonderful son was so unique and generally happy with his life, even though he himself had many life struggles. He would have celebrated his birthday on June 3rd. At that time, I needed to recognize what should have been such a milestone for him. Part of my birthday wishes to him were as follows. I miss you now and will every day to come. I am so grateful we talked the Monday before you died. I feel you all around me even as I mourn your passing. You are holding me together. Everyone loves you so and always will. You always cared for everyone else before yourself. Now let the angels and God look after you. My heart broke when you left this world so suddenly. It is hard to believe it is true. I will miss our talks, sharing meals, watching TV or videos, sitting quietly, or playing cards and games with you. I love you so very much and always will. Love, Mom. In Jonathan's first few years of school, he was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, dysgraphia, and another disorder that I called the absent-minded professor syndrome. Jonathan went to French immersion for 2 years, and after that we sent him to Sylvan Learning Center. This worked wonders for him, as he was always 3 grades ahead in reading and comprehension. Our relationship was not easy, as Jonathan was independent and a very unique thinker. High school was very difficult for him, and he had trouble with everything except reading. Accommodations were offered for his learning disabilities, but he refused to be treated differently. Jonathan still printed all of his work until his death. School being a struggle led to anxiety, depression, and panic attacks. I am very proud that he chose not to go on Ritalin. He dealt with these issues on his own terms. He was strong and determined. His best attributes were his verbal and debating skills. I remember many discussions when he would quite often take the opposite point of view, which infuriated me. He later told me that he did that on purpose, which made it even worse, but I guess he remembered and learned much from these talks. He was a free spirit, always doing his own thing. I feel it's also important for you to know how Jonathan's friends felt about him. One of his dear friends, Ryan, used the word loyalty to describe Jonathan. When I asked him to contribute to this, he wrote an emotionally charged paragraph about my son that to this day brings tears to my eyes. I would like you to hear an excerpt from his statement about John. He was the brother and best friend that I always wanted. Even after he left, I had so many people come up to me, people who were friends with John, lives he had touched so deeply, to say how he always spoke so highly of me and how I was lucky to be his best friend. The truth is, I didn't have to be lucky or even try. It was just loyalty. Loyalty above all else. We were just there for each other because we always loved each other. Now I'm left half a man, rediscovering the person I've become, the person he helped me become. I am left with a void that can't be filled, replaced, or forgotten. He always appreciated me for me. I was the person who always had the right words and the one who always gave the perfect gifts. I think I miss him so much because I died that night, and I miss myself too. Johnny, you mean more than words or I could ever say. Guess that's why it's less talk, more rock. I'm lost without you. Nothing will ever be the same. His 11 closest and long-standing friends had these words about him. He was truly a great listener, someone you could confide in and tell your problems and secrets to. He would quietly listen and sincerely want to help. He always tried to be a friend to all, even if you only knew him for a minute. People knew he could be trusted and they liked him immediately. Jonathan can change a bland event or day into something really dynamic and adventurous. He enjoyed telling stories of past events, and they were grander and larger and more spectacular because he told them. He had a Peter Pan quality in that all things were new and exciting to him. Around the next corner he would find something fascinating and exciting for everyone who was with him. The stories were funnier and special just because of the way he told them. He could make you laugh when you were down and get you out of the dumps. Most of all, Johnny was extremely loyal to all of us. We all feel blessed to have known him, and we felt he was part of each of our families. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of his friends and their parents for loving this messy, forgetful, but wonderful son of mine. He was loyal, grateful for all of his friends, fun-loving, unusual in his thought patterns, but always there when someone needed him. We were blessed with many years of his special view on life and his warm, caring personality, always watching, listening, and helping us as only he could. Jonathan was never much concerned about how he looked or with possessions. His top priority was spending time with his friends, playing games with them, and being a support in their life struggles. Jonathan taught me many things, among them, respect of people just as they are, that you cannot change people's basic nature, that you raise a child to be independent and then you have to let them live their life on their own terms and no matter what goals you have for them, and that unconditional love is a two-way street. My beautiful, loving, caring, unique son, Jonathan, Johnny as he was known to his friends, was gone from this world quickly by unknown hands. His sudden an unexplainable death occurred on a quiet walkway near 1:30 a.m. on Thursday, May 31st. So shocking it is hard to fathom. His dedication to his family and friends defied logic, but he made it work for himself. He was happy helping everyone he could. I admire him so for his steadfast loyalty to each of them. He is my angel, and I wish for him peace in the next life. His journey was far too short, and my grief is tempered only by the thoughts of the good he did while on this amazing adventure of life. By always being unpredictable, never seeing him on a regular day, never eating at the same restaurant, or seeing him on special occasions, he has prepared me for this time when he will no longer be here in person. His spirit will always be with me and anyone who ever met him. He is a treasure, an angel, and will always be in my heart. I am sure he is surrounding me with his presence, and his love is holding me together. However, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Anyone who knows anything about how he died or who shot him, I would be grateful to know more details. I have forgiven you, but justice should be served. Please come forward with information to help solve this case. Both his family and friends need closure now. I ask you to take a lesson from Jonathan's book. His life was not easy. He struggled constantly, but he always considered his choices and believed in doing what was right, even if it wasn't what was easy. It is for this reason that he was so loved by me, his extended family, and friends. Thank you. Thanks, Joe. The London Police Service and the investigative team is as committed today to solving this homicide as we were on May 31st, 2012, when Jonathan's body was found. I want you to know that Jonathan Zak was an entirely innocent person caught in the terrible circumstance of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was not a criminal. He was not involved in the drug trade. He simply chose to walk along the footpath in Northeast Park to get home that morning. This cost him his life. This is still an active investigation. We have interviewed dozens of people, and it is clear to us that some individuals who possess information and knowledge that will assist the investigation are hesitant to come forward. Some of those people have directly expressed to us that they will not cooperate with the investigation. The area on the footpath where this crime occurred connects two London Middlesex housing corporations, Huron Street and Booley Street. These are tight-knit communities, and I am confident that most residents do not accept this type of violence in their communities. I am also confident that there are residents of these communities who have the ability to assist the investigation. I will turn the podium back over to Chief Duncan, who has some closing remarks.